Global News has more insight tonight into the security incident at the Prime Minister's residence last week. 46-year-old Corey Hurren, a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, faces 22 charges, including threatening death or bodily harm to the Prime Minister. He's accused of ramming the gates of Rideau Hall with his truck, and court documents reveal he had 4 loaded guns with him. Some people, including the leader of the NDP, call what he's alleged to have done domestic terrorism, but that's not what he's charged with. Jeff Semple joins us now with more. Jeff, what have we learned about Corey Hurren and a possible motive?
Well, Donna, the man accused of storming the Prime Minister's residence, Corey Hurren, wrote a letter. Now, we haven't seen it for ourselves, but sources say that it included a laundry list of grievances and things that had gone wrong in his life, from his late brother and father to the federal firearms legislation. And he blamed the government for shutting down Parliament and parts of the economy in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
In his letter, sources say Hurren complained that the lockdown would cost him his sausage business and that his truck would soon be repossessed. But as a military reservist, he was still receiving a full paycheck.
The letter seems to suggest that he had financial troubles. But if you're getting paid full-time as a reservist, especially in a small community, that's a good amount of money.
All reservists were placed on duty during the pandemic, some deployed to long-term care homes. But Hurren, a ranger in Manitoba, was placed on standby and told to quarantine at home indefinitely.
This was kind of a clear case for me, at least based on the letter and the contents in the letter, of someone who'd found a lot of purpose and meaning from his life, his job, his role in the military, and he started to experience a lot of that whittle away.
Sitting at home, Hurren apparently spent a lot of time online. His letter and social media posts describe a conspiracy theory that claims Bill Gates and other elites orchestrated the COVID-19 pandemic.
He probably had these thoughts and ideas for a long time. The impetus is not some particular set of ideas. The ideas are there in the background for a long time. It's the emotion, it's the pain, it's the depression. It's not being able to just sit there and take it anymore.
Sources say his letter described Canada as a communist dictatorship. He hoped his actions would serve as a wake-up call, adding, "I have said more in my emails to MPs. They never responded."
The Conservative Party of Canada confirms to Global News that several of its MPs did indeed receive emails from Hurren expressing his concerns about government policy. But according to a party spokesperson, none of those emails raised any red flags. Similarly, the Canadian Armed Forces says that it found no issues of physical or mental health that would have prevented his re-enrollment in the forces last year. Donna?
All right, Jeff Semple, thank you. Let's bring in our Ottawa Bureau Chief, Mercedes Stephenson. Mercedes, this happened at Rideau Hall. That's the Governor General's residence. And Rideau Cottage is also on the grounds there. That's where the Prime Minister and his family live. What larger concerns does it raise about security there?
Well, it's a really tough place in some ways to have security, Donna, because this is not a typical home where the head of the country would live that is heavily secured and designed for that purpose. Rideau Hall is the traditional location where the Governor General lives, and the grounds are open to the public in Ottawa. So lots of people, apart from COVID-19, where they're closed right now, would enjoy a Sunday stroll, would go skating there in the winter. It's always been very accessible. And Global News has learned that RCMP protective detail personnel have raised concerns about their ability to secure the grounds at Rideau Hall because of that public accessibility. So it's now under review. The police are trying to figure out how they do this, but there are people asking questions about why some of these issues were not addressed earlier. For example, the gates that the man smashed through in his truck with those loaded guns didn't have any kind of a concrete barrier in front of them to stop something like that. And if you look anywhere on Parliament Hill, or if anyone's been to now suspended before very common events like parades and public celebrations, you'd see these concrete barriers up to prevent people from conducting vehicle attacks. So, Donna, lots of questions about security there. Still that challenge of how do you keep it open but protect the Prime Minister? But we do know that the RCMP has apparently raised these concerns on more than one occasion.
The Prime Minister has faced security threats before, and you have some information about a threat during a campaign event last fall.
So I'm sure, Donna, you and all of our viewers will remember the Prime Minister coming out in a bulky, bulletproof Kevlar vest. At the time he was in the vest, the Prime Minister's office, the Liberal Party, and the RCMP wouldn't tell us what the threat was. We know that that threat now was, in fact, that there was a person allegedly in the audience with a gun. A bus driver who was working to drive people to this campaign rally approached the RCMP saying she had seen a man holding a black pistol in his hands. And her description was so convincing to the RCMP that they believed there was a credible threat. They also made the recommendation at that point to the Trudeau campaign that they should cancel the event or not go out in the crowd. Instead, they waited 90 minutes while the RCMP combed the crowd. They never found the gun or the man, and they made the decision to go ahead with the event. Donna?
All right, Mercedes Stephenson in Ottawa, thank you.